Gorian Shard invades Navarro in retaliation for Vane's expulsion, and Grief Karga contacts Carson Teva. Suspecting that the attack is a prelude to a new rise of the Empire, Teva informs one of his superiors. But when Colonel Tuttle shows indifference, he tracks down the Mandalorian, converts, and asks Din Djarin for help. Djarin convinces the convert to come to Karga's aid despite their prior confrontations with him, and Bo-Katan assumes command of the attack force. As the Mandalorians overcome the pirates, Vane flees and Shard is killed. The Mandalorians are welcomed back by Karga and the people, and the covert moves back to its old, secret enclave. The armorer meets with Bo-Katan, acknowledging the Mythosaur's reappearance as an omen that Bo-Katan is the one who can reunite all Mandalorians. On his way back to Adelphi, Teva encounters the wreckage of Moff Gideon's prison transport, which had gone missing during transport. He also finds a fragment of Beskar alloy, suggesting that Mandalorians must have broken Gideon out. Thanks for stopping by the Surge T channel. I am Surge T, and that is the synopsis for Chapter 21, The Pirate, which is Episode 5 of The Mandalorian. We saw, and I like it, I like callbacks. I like when they put in references that they want us to figure out or to catch. So a lot of these guys like to put out these videos, Easter eggs and all that stuff, and there's quite a bit in here. Some that I caught myself, and then there's some that in looking up people's articles and videos out there, and they're also saying the same. They're bringing up some other ones that I didn't catch. Now I'm not familiar with this character, but he made a live action appearance in this episode, and that is Garzeb Aurelios, and he's commonly referred to as Zeb, and he's from Star Wars Rebels. I've heard about that animated show, that animated Star Wars entry, and never watched it. I never watched Clone Wars either, or any of the other ones. I'm not really into animation like that or anything. I prefer to watch the live action stuff. But nonetheless, it's a very unique, very the character is, I like what I see. He looks like, I would like to see what he's capable of and what he does. I'm not familiar, but some of you who watch this video, I'm sure you are familiar with Zeb, and he was in there talking with with Teva. You can kind of get his the gist of how he is, because he was kind of snarky and sarcastic with Teva when he said he was going to go and talk to the superior and his superior and talk about getting some reinforcements to help out the people of Navarro. And you see that. Now, there's a nod here to both Aliens and Star Wars. Another thing that I did not catch, but I did, in my mind, I'm like going, that looks familiar. It looks like it's something that I've seen before. And the first one that was, when I saw it in an article, and it was reference to Jaws. And that's when Carson Teva comes across a drowned Lambda shuttle. It's much like Hooper and Brody stumbling upon Ben Gardner's damaged boat in Star Wars, not Star Wars, but in Steven Spielberg's classic horror movie, Jaws. And then we see Carson Teva, he needs more information than just a visual of the shuttle. And then he has to go in deeper. To that end, he has his droid enter and scan the interior of the ship. Popping off one of its panels, Teva's droid goes in and starts beaming out a thin blue light, looking over the insides of the ship. Now, it says here in this article that eagle-eyed fans will see this for exactly what it is, a nod to the opening of James Cameron's Aliens. and I do remember that. But like I said, that's the one that I recognize, and I'm thinking I've seen that before, and that's what it was. It was in reference to aliens, and that's you imagine if you have a crossover and Star Wars, they come, the characters there come in contact with an alien from the Alien movies. That would be something, wouldn't it? And in the end, there, I will go over it, but we find out that Moff Gideon, he's not to be found. The ship, this was supposed to be transporting him, but ends up that he's not there, and that because of Teva's discovery of Beskar alloy, that the immediate assumption is that they were held by the Mandalorians. Is that true? Could that be a situation? Could that be, a possibility? Where are Bo-Katan's people? Right? Koska Reeves and the other guy and others. Did her people do this? Did Paz, Vizsla, did he? The armorer. I mean, who? Who's the one that did this? Or is Moff Gideon in possession of Beskar? And maybe that's just what it is. Who knows, right? Maybe they found the ship. I'm telling you, man. I'm trying to put my phone up and it keeps falling over. Anyway. But yeah, so there's that. Now, there was a reference to Han Solo. Remember when he and Guido, right? When they were talking in the cantina, and not Guido, yeah, he's Italian. Guido, and they're wondering if he shot first, right? If he shot first, or did Greedo shot first? And then there was a thing where Greef Karga goes, "Next time I'm going to shoot first," something to that extent. And that's one that I immediately recognized, of course, because I could tell that was a reference to that. Because that's the question that everybody was asking, right? Everybody was thinking that. Who did? And then they resolved that in the reissue of A New Hope, right? And then also one that I also remember, and I remember that reference, and it was when Mando says, "I like those odds," when he was told that you're outnumbered by the pirates 10-1. And he said, "I like those odds." And that was something that he had said in the past during season 1. So that right there is another thing that I remember that he said that before. Was it in season 1 or episode 1? But he said it in the past. I'm just going by the thing that I did remember hearing that. I did remember hearing him say that before. I don't know. Did Han Solo say that too? Oh no, he said something like, "Don't tell me the odds" or something like that, or "Don't tell me the thing," right? And it was actually kind of like the same thing where he was up against, the Empire, up against all these ships, all the TIE fighters, whatever you want to say it, right? He was trying to escape out of there before they got out of their, the hyperspace or the light speed, right? Something like that. And that's pretty much from what I caught, the references and nods and things to the Star Wars of the past, and even the past episodes of in seasons of The Mandalorian. Now, this one we saw but it's indeed happening, and that is the possibility of the rebuilding of the Empire. That's what Teba thinks. That's what some think, others. And of course we see, Elia Kane, or Elia Kane, however you say her name. She's there, and she's pretty much making things hard for, you know, for Carson Teva to get through to his superior. Every time he says something, she kind of brings up something that kind of makes his claim or something look kind of like, because not like, it's like it does not make any sense. It's not computing with we call it with Colonel Tuttle. Was played by Tim Meadows, who his only claim to fame was what, Ladies Man from what do you call it, from SNL. Probably one of the biggest failures when it came to trying to get his own movies out there. From doing the character he did on SNL. Only a few people can do that and get away with it and do it well. You have, Mike Myers. You have even Dana Carvey to an extent. I believe Chris Farley too. I'm trying to think of any of his characters that he did in the movies came from SNL. Only a few, but I can get into that at another time about what I feel about SNL. The last time it was good was when Eddie Murphy was part of the cast, and that was how many years ago? In the 80s, right? But anyway, that's not about that. It's about the Mandalorian, and I enjoyed this episode. And there's nothing like a aerial battle that's done Star Wars style. This reminded me of, the Return of the Jedi, when you had Lando Calrissian up in the air, leading the charge, leading the party there to go and destroy the second Death Star. They're up there battling, right? They're up there exchanging blasters and blaster shots and stuff like that. And then on the ground, you got the Ewoks and not Luke, but Leia and Han and them fighting the, Empire down there. It's like on the ground and in the air. You had on the ground in this episode, you had the Mandalorians doing their best, doing their thing. And then in the air, you have Mando and Bo-Katan doing their thing, getting it done, taking down Gorian Shard, and then that chicken crap. The guy's full of crap, thinking he's brave because he had his guys around him, but then he decides, Vane does to flee. I guess he's smart. Live to fight another day, I guess. You'll get his, one day, But then there it is. He's gone. He left, and then we see Gorian Shard. His assistant there said, "Hey, let's retreat." He was like, "Nope, we're not doing that," and he went full steam ahead. And he went full steam ahead into an ambush or into an attack, and his whole ship just went down and crashed to the side of the, side of the mountain there, side of the whatever you call it, cavern area. And then there you go. But the one thing that really got me, and I really, really loved that scene, was when the armorer. Now, the armorer is very skilled and adept at making, things out of Beskar steel, whether it be, armor, whether it be helmets, whatever you need, right? Signias to put on your shoulder pad thing, But then she goes in there and she just takes out all those pirates, wielding around that what's that, an axe, or that was some kind of hammer, and she threw it. I said somebody referenced it like that. Imagine if she wielded the Mjolnir, Thor's hammer. I think she'd be able to lift that, right? No, how about you? I think so. Takes a special person, but she threw that thing and hit that guy, and she nailed him. And she was taking these guys out, and then she just smacks that one guy it was like a gunner. He had this machine gun that he was shooting at the Mandalorians and stuff. And she just clocks him across the face, and he just falls to the floor below, about 2 feet. About two stories there. And so Paz Vizsla and the rest could advance because they were cornered. It's like a firefight, like you see in when you see like even movies, but even there's some footage that they showed of our troops
in war in Afghanistan and all that, and then you see how they're boxed in, and they have enemies from either side, you know, and they can't. And one person has to look this way, and the other person look that way, shooting at them and stuff like that. It was really precarious, and it was really tense, you know, and it was really great. I love who choreographed this. I love who arranged this. The stunts and stuntmen did a great job, and I just love, you know, the way the Mandalorian, and even all the Star Wars films, how they handle this type of action. I like it, especially the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian really is great on action. They're not, you know, scarce on action. And like I said, I love the. This is probably another nod too. I don't know. I didn't see a lot of the videos. I wonder if somebody said that it's like a nod to Return of the Jedi, where you had a fighting in the air and fighting on the ground at the same time. It was really good. Well done. I really enjoyed this episode, but it leaves you with a what's going to happen with the whole thing with Greef Karga. Where is he at? Is he the one that's, you know, rebuilding the Empire now? Is he somewhere? I mean, he has his plants everywhere. He's got his spies. He's got Elia Kane there, the New Republic. Supposedly she's what's the word? But she's rehabilitated and all that, but she's not. You see that little sly look on her face, like she's trying to be all pleasant and very you know, astute and everything. But then you could see when one of the guys there, her superiors or whatever, not looking at her, she has that evil eye. You know she's up to something. Oh, we know she's up to. We know she's up to something, but you know what I mean. But then what about when Bo-Katan? She's pulled aside by the armorer. I'm wondering what's going on. She tells her to take your mask off or take your helmet off. And she reveals to her that you saw the mythosaur. And it's because you walk on both sides, right? Of the you know, of the Mandalorians and that. And she can walk, you know, she doesn't have to necessarily have her helmet on, you know, because of the fact that she's walked on both sides. And it's like she's now, because of the mythosaur's reappearance, and it's like as an omen to Bo-Katan that she's the only one that can reunite all the Mandalorians. And to take it off her helmet, it symbolizes her new position. You know, that's something I'm thinking. If she doesn't appear in another episode, is this going to be the way that they're going to start her own series? Because I'm hearing that there's going to be a series for Bo-Katan. I'm not sure if it's underway, but I've been hearing things, I've been reading things, and I'll definitely look forward to that because I love her character. You know, I think Katie Sackhoff is, you know, just amazing as Bo-Katan. I think she carries herself well, you know, and she really does. She hangs in there with you know, with the Mandalorians, with Mando, with Greef Karga, you know. And I guess she's the one that fills in the spot that's vacated now by Gina Carano and Cara Dune, her character, you know. But anyway, like I said, I enjoyed this episode. Chapter 21, The Pirate, is the 5th episode of the 3rd season of The Mandalorian. Like I said, I enjoyed it. And, well, we'll end it there. And so for those of you who stopped by and checked out this video, I appreciate it. Thank you for your support. And in closing, as always, take care.